When did you regret judging a book by its cover? My brother's wedding was magical. His wife, Lauren, looked like a real-life Disney princess, and I could literally see my brother tearing up as she walked down the aisle. I never would have imagined what was really going on behind closed doors. I suggested we all go out for drinks to continue celebrating after the reception, but Jake seemed hesitant. He mentioned that Lauren thought it would be better if they headed straight to their honeymoon suite. I understood, and he promised we'd reconnect after Cabo. The changes started almost right away. Jake had gone from spamming the family group chat with updates and photos to never texting anyone back. My mom called me one night, begging me to check up on him. At the time, I thought she was being dramatic, but I was the closest one to him, so I did it anyway. I expected him to answer and laugh about mom being stressed out for no reason, but I never saw him, because Lauren was the one who answered. "Jake is resting," was all she said, before slamming the door right in my face. As per my mom's request, I kept trying, but they all went the same way. Lauren would give a new excuse every time, and soon, I found myself worrying even more than my mom, because I was your atypical overworked social worker, who never really turned off the work side of my brain. So I did what any rational adult would do in that situation. I knew he finished work early on Wednesdays, so I waited outside until 2 p.m. hit, and followed him all the way to Whole Foods. I was immediately struck by how drained and disoriented he appeared. He didn't even question why I was visiting a store 15 miles away from my home. I straight up asked him why he looked so pale, and he mentioned his medication seemed less effective lately. I breathed a sigh of relief, because that meant the solution was simple. "Well, in that case, you should consult your psychiatrist." "No," he immediately interrupted. "Sorry, I didn't mean to raise my voice. It's just that Lauren has everything under control." I just nodded, because it was clear he wasn't going to tell me the truth. So that weekend, I showed up to their home with mom's homemade lasagna, which was really just a frozen meal from Target. Lauren informed me that Jake was at an emergency therapy session at some faraway clinic, so I stared right into her cold eyes and put on the happiest fake voice I could muster. "Oh, I know where that is. I'll go pick him up." I wanted her to know that I didn't trust her, and I guess she took the hint, because suddenly she snapped and said he had already booked an Uber home. And the next day, I got the phone call. It was Jake. I could hear the sound of water splashing in the background like he was in a bathtub. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Beep. The phone line had been cut off. I was so freaked out that I immediately told my mom about it, and we were both spam calling the house. But every time, Lauren would be the one to answer. And on the 9th time I called, she screamed, "I told you he needs rest," before blocking both our numbers. I couldn't sleep at all that night, and when I woke up, I got yet another call. But this time, it wasn't Lauren. It was my Uncle Harvey. He told me that Jake had told him to tell me to stop being a jealous bitch. But when I asked Harvey what he thought, he told me he was just as worried as me. We were going to damn near force our way into that man's house, until we realized that it's best to give up. Because later that month, we all received invitations in the mail. Him and Lauren were redoing their wedding vows. I was extremely confused, but the last thing I wanted was for Lauren to revoke my invite. So I just texted her saying that I couldn't wait to attend. And when the day came, Jake looked nothing like he did that day in Whole Foods. He had the usual boyish smile plastered on his face and made his usual cocky jokes. Then came the vows. We all surrounded them while they stood at the top of the room, and Lauren looked as confident as ever. Jake went first, but instead of saying anything, he took out a pill bottle from his pocket. Lauren gasped. So I'm sure you've all been wondering why I've been acting so strange recently, and trust me, for a while I was too. But then I realized he then stopped talking, like he was deep in thought. "Oh honey, do you want to tell them, or should I?" he asked, staring straight at Lauren. "Okay, fine, I'll tell them. Lauren here has been replacing all my medication with placebos, so my entire life has been haunted by my schizophrenic psychosis spells every single day." The entire room went so quiet you could hear a pin drop, and in a moment of quick thinking, Lauren walked right up to me and slapped me in the face. "I know you put him up to this, you barren bitch." My brother pulled her off of me, and my Uncle Harvey was a police officer, so she ended up being charged with 3 years in prison, and my brother was finally set free from her evil little gremlin hands. But what I didn't anticipate was the jails being overcrowded, and her being let out on good behavior after just 2 weeks in a cell. Because for the entirety of her stay, there was just one thing on her mind: getting revenge on me. Full story on channel, linked below.